Good morning and welcome to our online service. Once again, hope you are well during this time. And I would like to share a scripture from Hebrew, just as a word of encouragement during this time. It's found in Hebrew chapter 4, and starting from verse 14 to 16. It says, "Seeing then that we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold fast our confession. For we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize for our weaknesses, but Jesus was in all points tempted as we are, yet without sin. Let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need." A priest would be a mediator, someone who would stand between the worshipper and God, and there were certain duties, certain responsibilities, and services that the priest would have to perform with regards to the bridge between the worshipper and God. In this passage, it says that we have a high priest who has come down from heaven. He's not an earthly priest where he himself would need to be, deal with his issues and deal with his faults and be purified. Rather, this priest has come down from heaven. He came down from heaven, and he went through the same desires, the same temptations, the same issues that we, the worshipper, would go through. And the reason this is the reason for this is that because we need to relate to someone that can understand, or as far as our concern is, that can understand, and that we can say, well, that's easy for you to do. You're the Son of God. But how about me? I'm earthly bound. But see, the reason why he came down to earth is so that we can say, well, he came to earth. He was born just like me. He was a baby just like me. He had needs and hunger and emotions and all different kind of things just like me. And when he grew up to a certain age, he was tempted. We read this in the gospel and Matthew and Mark and Luke, the temptation of Christ. He was tempted as we are in all the different areas of life. The human desire, for example, the pride of the heart, the greed, relationship issues. You read the story of Jesus from start to finish. He was tempted in many ways, uh, yet what did not commit any sin, according to this passage, according to the scripture. So he can have compassion towards you and me, the worshippers, because he himself walked our shoes also. There's a saying that goes, we do not fully understand a person unless we walk a mile in his shoes or her shoes. And that's a true thing. We can stand from a distance and judge someone, or have an idea about someone. But unless we had walked in their own shoes, then it would be a different story, and we will see it for a different reason. And this is exactly what Jesus did. He came and walked a mile in our shoes so that we can turn to him and say, well, you know my heart's desire, you know my greeds, you know my relationship issues, you know my pride, you know the sins that I struggle with. Therefore, we can turn to him because he himself had walked a mile in our shoes, using that expression. So there is a certain responsibility then. So we do not need to perform certain duties in order to be accepted, but there is a certain part that we play ourselves as worshippers with regards to our high priest. And it says this in verse 16. Let us therefore come boldly. So the first thing that we need to do is that we need to come. There's no point in trying to get from A to B if you're not going to start the journey. So the first step is obviously come boldly. Boldly means that we need to come with a certain confidence, despite what we feel, despite what's happening around us. There's a certain boldness that we need to come with. And the reason why we are confident and we are bold is because the place we're going to is a throne of grace. A throne of grace is, you could say, is a kingdom of grace. A grace means unconditional acceptance, no matter what had happened in your life or what you've done. Because of what Jesus has done, we can come to this kingdom of acceptance, this kingdom of grace, this throne of grace, because of what he has done for us. So we come boldly because we are coming to a place of acceptance or place of grace, that we may obtain mercy. Grace and mercy goes hand to hand. Wherever you find the grace of God, you will definitely find mercy there. For the grace to be available to us, the mercy of God has to be there. And this is what God had done through Christ for each and every one of us. The mercy of God was revealed in the sacrifice of Christ, so that we, no matter what had happened, or no matter the history that we've come through, because of the grace of God, because of the mercy of God, uh, we can receive this grace that we are coming to, and that we can find grace. That word grace is repeated in this verse. We can find grace to help in time of needs. It's always the grace that we need, especially when we are in needs. It is grace, it is compassion, it is someone who can be understanding, someone who can say, well, I've walked a mile in your shoes and I understand exactly where you are, what you're doing right now, how you're feeling. This is how you can do it. This is how you can come across to the other side. And this is what Jesus has done to us through the illustration of this little portion of scripture. He is a high priest, not from earth, but from heaven. He is a high priest that was tempted in all of the needs of life, or all the temptations of life. He was tested in all of that, so that we can flee to him, so that we can run to him and say, yes, I can come to you because I know you fully understand the walk of life that I'm in. And we come to him by a certain confession, or a certain belief, or a certain declaration that we make. We come to him boldly because of the grace that is already available for us. And we come and find mercy, and mercy is always the remedy. And grace and mercy is always the remedy for times in needs, or for the needs of our lives. When we are going through and we have needs in life, turn to the mercy of God, turn to the grace of God. Speak it over your life, plead it over your life. Ask God to reveal more of his grace and his mercy over your life, because this is what we need as human, that when we walk with God, we can come and find all of these in his mercy. Well, God bless you again, and take care until next time.